time, there was a young man named Orlando. Who lived in servitude under the thumb of his cruel brother, Oliver.
Marry, sir, be better employed.
No, no, Oliver, I will no longer endure it.
What, boy? You turn from me?
Come! Come, elder brother, you are too young in this.
Wilt thou lay hands on me, villain?
You shall hear me, and I am not a villain. And if you were not my brother, I would not pull this hand from thy throat till this other hand had pulled out thy tongue for saying so.
Let me go, I say.
You shall hear me. My father charged you in his will to give me good education, but you have trained me like a peasant, and I will no longer endure it. Therefore, give me the 1,000 crowns my father left me. With them, I will go buy my fortunes.
And what wilt thou do? Beg when that's spent? You will have your 1,000 crowns. Get you hands.
But Oliver had no intention of giving his brother any money or his freedom. Knowing that Orlando was scheduled to contend with the Duke's wrestler, he hatched a plan.
The Duke's wrestler. I will speak with him. He is here at the door. 'Twill be a good way. And today the wrestling is. Holla, Monsieur Charles!
Calls us your worship.
My brother hath a disposition to come against you.
Your brother is but young and tender, and I'd be loath to break his limbs. So stay upon his attendant.
Now, I'll tell thee, Charles, he is young and full of ambition, a villainous contriver against me, his older brother. Therefore, I had as lief thou didst break his neck as his finger. I'll thank thee for thy love to me, which thou shalt find I will most kindly requite.
If he come today, I'll give him his payment.
Fare thee well, good Charles.
God keep your worship.
This wrestler will clear all, brother, and I will see an end of you.
Meanwhile, at the court of Duke Frederick, he is a man who banished his own brother and usurped his power. The banished king's daughter, Rosalind, stayed behind with her cousin Celia.
I pray thee, Rosalind, my sweet cause, be merry.
Dear Celia, I show more mirth than I am mistress of, and would you yet I were marrier? Can you teach me to forget a banished father? Will you teach me to forget the condition of my estate?
You know my father, Duke Frederick, hath no child but I. Surely when he dies, thou shalt be his heir. For what he hath taken from thy father, I will render to thee again. Therefore, my sweet Rose, my dear Rose, be merry.
From henceforth I will, cause.
They are ready to perform the wrestling.
Is yonder the challenger who would risk his life?
It was love at first sight. Da 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 da
Alas, he is too young to die. Young man, have you challenged Charles the wrestler?
I come but in as others do.
Young gentlemen, your spirits are too bold for your years. You have seen cruel proof of this man's strength. 3 men have little hope of life left in them. We pray you to embrace your own safety and give over this attempt.
Do, young sir, your reputation shall not be despised.
Let your gentle wishes go with me to my trial, wherein if I be killed, there is one dead that is willing to be so. I do my friends no wrong. for I have none to lament me.
Little strength that I have, I would it were with you.
Come, where is this young gallant who is so desirous to lie with his mother Earth?
Ready, sir.
Let's get ready to
Young gentlemen, you are well deserved.
Wear this. For me. One out of suits with fortune that could give more, but that her hand lacks means. Shall we go, cuz?
Aye. Fare you well, fair gentlemen.
Can I not say I thank you? No.
He calls us back like buddy. What did you call, sir? Fare you well.
What passion hangs these weights upon my tongue? I cannot speak to her, yet she urged conference.
Is it possible on such a sudden that you should fall into so strong a loving with Orlando?
The Duke, my father, loved his father dearly.
Oh, then I should hate him, for my father hated his father clearly.
No, please hate him not for my sake. Do you love him? Because I do.
But standing between the two lovers is the Duke. Angry at the loss of his wrestler, he vents his wrath at Rosalind, the daughter of the Duke he banished.
Look, here comes the Duke.
With his eyes full of anger.
Mistress, get you from our court.
Me, uncle?
You, niece, within these 10 days, if that thou beest found so near our public court as 20 miles, thou diest for it.
I do beseech your grace, let me the knowledge of my fault bear with me.
You are thy father's daughter. There is enough. Ha.
But I can all about her company.
You are a fool. She is banished. Ha. Ha. Ha.
Rosalind, whither shall we go?
The Duke has banished me, not you.
Shall we sunder? Shall we part? Nay. Let my father seek another heir. Do not seek to carry your griefs upon yourself and leave me out. Say what thou canst. I go along with thee.
Why, whither shall we go?
To the forest of Arden, to see my uncle, your father.
But alas, what danger will it be to us maids as we are?
I'll dress myself in poor, mean attire, like you do.
Were it not better Because that I am tall, that I do suit me all points like a man.
What shall I call thou when thou art a man?
I'll have no worse a name than Joe's own page. And therefore, look you call me Ganymede. But what will you be called?
Something that hath reference to my state. No more Celia, but alien. Aliena. So let's away and get our wealth together.
Now go we in content to liberty and not to banishment.
I pray you, bear with me, for I can go no further.
For my part, I'd rather bear with you than to bear you.
And so, the two ventured into... the forest,
Oh, so this is the Forest of Art.
where they met a lovelorn shepherd, who reminds Rosalind, dressed as Ganymede, of her love for Orlando.
Oh, Phoebe, Phoebe, Phoebe. Oh, Phoebe, how I do love you.
Alas, poor shepherd, searching of thy wound, I have by hard adventure found my own. I will speak to him. Prithee, shepherd! That clouds of gold could in this desert place buy entertainment, bring us where we might rest ourselves and feed. There's a young maid with travel much oppressed.
Fair sir, I pity her, and wish my fortunes were more able to relieve her. But alas, my master is of churlish disposition, and besides, his coats and flocks and bounds of feed are now on sale.
I like this place and could willingly waste my time in it.
Maybe with gold we'll buy us yonder cottage.
Surely the thing is to be sold, and if you like the soil, and profit from this kind of life, then I will buy it with your gold right suddenly, and I will your very faithful feeder be.
Good. Huh.
Meanwhile, in another part of the Forest of Arden, Rosalind's father, the banished duke, is finding that he loves his life in exile. His loyal man of the court, however, is not as happy. Orlando, fleeing his tyrannical brother, has also retreated to the forest, where he struggles to survive.
Under the greenwood tree, who loves to be with me, and turn his merry note unto the sweet bird's throat. Come hither, come hither, come hither. Here shall he see no enemy.
But winter and rough weather. More, I prithee more.
But it will make thee more melancholy, Monsieur Jaquez.
I think it. I can suck melancholy from a song as a weasel sucks eggs.
Now, Jaquez, my brother in exile, hath not old custom made this life more sweet than that of painted pomp? Is not this wood of Arden more free from peril than the envious court? Sweet are the uses of adversity, and this our life exempt from public haunt finds tongues in trees, books in running brooks, sermons in stones, and good in everything I would not change it.
Forbear me no more!
Have eaten none yet.
Who shalt not till necessity be served?
Art thou thus golden man? Thy
Forbear, I say! Die since such as any of this fruit.
What would you have?
I almost die for food!
Sit, feed, and welcome.
Speak you so gently? Pardon me, I pray you.
'Tis true that we have seen better days, and sat at great men's feasts, and wiped our eyes of drops that sacred pity hath engendered. Therefore, sit you down in gentleness, and take command upon what help we have.
I thank thee.
Thou art welcome.
Who's this?
This is Jaques, and I am the Duke. And whom art thou wishing to see?
I am Sir Roland. I am Orlando, the son of Sir Roland de Bois.
Now, Jaques, thou seest we are not all alone and happy. This wide and universal theater presents more woeful pageants than the scene wherein we play in.
All the world's a stage, and the men and women merely players. They all have their exits and their entrances, and each man plays many parts, his acts being 7 ages. First, the infant, mewling and puking in the nurse's arms. Then, the schoolboy, with his shining morning face and pouch on the side, creeping like a snail, unwilling to school. Then, the lover, moaning and sighing like a furnace, with woeful ballad made to his mistress's eyebrow. Then, the soldier, full of strange oaths and bearded like the pard, jealous in honor and quick to quarrel, seeking the bubble reputation, even in the cannon's mouth. Then, the justice, with fair round belly and good cape and line, with eyes severe and beard of formal cut, full of wise saws and modern instances. And so he plays his part. The next stage shifts to the lean and slippered pantaloon, with spectacles on nose and pouch at side. His youthful hose well saved a world too wide for his shrunk shank. His big, manly voice, shifting again to the childish treble, all pipes and whistles in his voice. The last stage of all that ends this eventful existence is a second childishness and mere oblivion. Sends eyes, sends teeth, sends taste, sends
So, give me your hand, and let all thy fortunes understand. Jaques!
Later, Orlando, now refreshed, redevotes himself to his long-lost love, Rosalind.
And there, my verse, in witness of my love. Oh, Rosalind, these trees shall be my books, and in their barks my thoughts of character, so that every eye which in this forest looks shall see thy virtue witnessed everywhere. Run, run, Orlando, carve on every tree the fair, the chaste, and unexpressive she.
is like Rosalind. Let no face be kept in mind, but the fairest Rosaline. If the cat will after kind, so be sure will Rosaline.
Sweetest nut hath sourest rind. Such a nut is Rosaline. If a heart do lack a hind, let him seek out Rosaline. Oh, truly, this is a very false gallop of verses. Why do you infect yourself with them?
Peace, I found them on a tree.
Well, truly, the tree yields bad fruit.
Why should this desert be? For it is unpeopled? No. Tongues I'll hang on every tree, but upon the fairest boughs, or at every sentence end, will I Rosalinda write? Oh, most gentle Jupiter, what a tedious homily of love.
Oh, true, you have done this.
Is it a man?
Would the chain you once wore about his neck change your color?
I prithee who?
Oh, Lord, Lord, it is a hard matter for friends to meet. But mountains may be removed and so encounter.
Nay, but who is it?
Is it possible?
Nay, I prithee now, with most petitionary vehemence, tell me who it is.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. And most wonderful, wonderful, and yet again wonderful, and after that, out of all whooping.
Good, my complexion! Just so think though I'm comparison like a man, I have a doublet and hose in my disposition. 1 inch of delay more is a south sea of discovery. I wish thou could stammer that I could pour that concealed man out of thy mouth as wine comes out of a narrow-mouthed bottle. Either too much at once, or none at all. I prithee, tell me who it is quickly, and speak apace.
Is he one man of man? Is his head worth a hat or a chin worth a beard?
Nay, he hath but a little beard.
Why, God will send more if the man will be thankful. Let me stay the growth of his beard if thou delay me not the knowledge of his chin.
'Tis young Orlando, who tripped up the wrestler's heels and your heart in an instant.
Nay, but speak sad brow and true, maid.
Aye, 'cause 'tis he,
Orlando?
Orlando.
Alas, the day! What shall I do with my doublet and hose? What did he when thou sawest him? What said he? How looked he? Wherein went he? What makes he here? Did he ask for me? Where remains he? How parted he with thee? When shalt thou see him again? Answer me in one word.
Thou must borrow me Gargantua's mouth first.
But doth he know I am in this forest and in man's apparel? Look he as freshly as he did the day he wrestled?
He was furnished like a hunter.
Oh, ominous! He comes to kill my heart.
Soft. Comes he not here?
'Tis he! Slink by and note him.
I thank you for your company, but good faith, I as lief had been myself alone.
And so had I, but yet for fashion's sake, I thank you for your society.
Let's meet as little as we can.
I do desire we may be better strangers.
I pray you, mar no of our trees by writing love songs in their barks.
Pray you mar no of my verses by reading them ill-favoredly.
Rosalind, is your love's name?
Yes, just.
I do not like her name.
There's no thought of pleasing you when she was christened.
Of what stature is she of?
Just as high as my heart.
You are full of pretty little answers. Have you not been acquainted with goldsmiths' wives and conned them out of rings?
No, but I answer you right painted cloth from whence you have studied your questions.
You have a nimble wit. I think 'twas made of Atalanta's heels. Come, sit with me, and we two will rail against our mistress the world and all our misery.
I will chide no breather in the world but myself. against whom I know the most faults.
The worst fault you have is to be in love.
'Tis a fault I will not change for your best virtue.
By my troth, I was seeking for a fool when I found you.
He is drowned in the brook. Look but in, and you shall see him.
But there I shall see my own figure.
Which I take to either be a fool or a cipher.
I'll tarry with you no longer. Farewell, Signor Love.
Adieu, good Monsieur Melancholy.
I will speak to him like a saucy lackey, and under that habit, play the game with him.
Do you hear, Forester?
Very well, what would you?
I pray you, what is to clock?
Should ask me what time of day, there's no clock in the forest.
Then there is no true lover in the forest. I'll sigh in every minute and groan in every hour, detect the lazy foot of time, as well as a clock.
And why not the swift foot of time? Had not that been as proper?
By no means, sir. Time travels in diverse paces with diverse persons. I'll tell you, who time trots withal, who time ambles withal, who time gallops withal, who he stands still withal.
I prithee, who doth he trot withal?
Married, he trots hard, with a young maid between the contract of her marriage and the day it is solemnized.
I
If
prithee-
the length be but 7 nights, time's pace is so hard it's 7 years.
I prithee, who doth he amble withal?
With a priest that lacks Latin, and a rich man that hath not the gout, because the one sleeps easily because he cannot study, the other lives merrily because he feels no pain. The one lacking the burden of lean and wasteful learning, the other knowing no burden of heavy, tedious penury. These time ambles withal.
I prithee, who doth he gallop withal?
With a thief to the gallows, because though he go as softly as foot can fall, he thinks himself too soon there.
I prithee, who doth he time to stand still withal?
With lawyers in the vacation, for they sleep between term and term, and then they perceive not how time moves.
Where dwell you, pretty youth?
With the shepherdess, my sister, in the skirts of the forefoot, fringe upon a petticoat.
Are you native of this place?
As the coney that you see dwell where she is kindled.
Your accent is something finer than you could purchase in so removed a dwelling.
Oh, I've been told so of many, but indeed old religious uncle of mine taught me to speak, who was in his youth an inland man, for he knew courtship too well, for there he fell in love. I've heard him read many lectures against it, and I thank God I am not a woman to be touched with so many giddy offenses as he had generally taxed their whole sex withal.
I prithee, what were the principal evils he laid to the charge of women?
There were none principal. They were all like halfpence are, each one something monstrous till his fellow faults came to match it.
I prithee, tell me some of them.
No! I will not cast away my physic, but on those that are sick. There is a man haunts the forest and abuses our young plants by carving Rosalind on their barks. Hangs odes upon hawthorns and elegies upon brambles, all, forsooth, deifying the name of Rosalind. If I could meet that fancy monger, I would give him some good counsel, for he seems to have the quotidian of love upon him.
I am he. I prithee, tell me your remedy.
You have none of my uncle's marks upon you. He taught me how to know a man in love. A cage of rushes, which I am sure you are not, prisoner.
What were his marks?
A lean cheek, which you have not. A blue eye, and sunken, which you have not. An unquestionable spirit, which you have not. A beard, neglected, which you have not. But I pardon you for that, for simply in your having a beard is a younger brother's revenue. Then your hose should be ungartered, your bonnet unbanded, your sleeve unbuttoned, your shoe untied, and everything about you demonstrating a careless desolation. But you are no such man. You are rather point devising your accoutrements, assuming the love of yourself than the love of any other.
I would I could make thee believe I love.
Me, believe it. I warrant you are after to do to make her that you love believe it, which is after to do than to confess she does. That is one of the ways that women still give the lie to their consciences. But in good sooth, are you he that writes the rhymes wherein Rosalind is so admired?
Oh, my heart. I am he that unfortunate he.
But are you so much in love as your rhymes speak?
Neither rhyme nor reason can express how much.
Love is merely a madness. It deserves as well a dark house and a whip as madmen do. And the reason why they are not so cured is that the lunacy is so ordinary that the whippers are in love too. Yet I profess curing it by counsel.
Did you ever cure any so?
Yes, one, and in this manner. He was to imagine me, his love, his mistress, and I set him every day to woo me. At which time would I be but a lunacy, grieve, be effeminate, changeable, longing and liking, proud, fantastical, apish, shallow, inconstant, full of tears, full of smiles, for every passion something, and for no passion truly anything, as boys and women are, for the most part, cattle of this color, would now like him, then loathe him, then entertain him, then forswear him, then weep for him, then spit at him, that I drained my suitor from his mad humor of love to a living humor of madness, which was to forswear the full stream of the world and to live in a nook, merely monastic. And thus I cured him, and in this way I will wash your livers clean as a sound sheep's heart, so there shall not be one spot of love in it.
I would not be cured, youth.
I would cure you, if you would but call me Rosalind, and come to my cottage and woo me.
Now, by the faith of my love, I will.
Go with me to it. I shall show you. And by the way, you shall tell me where in the forest you live. Come, sister. Will you go?
Bravo. Bravo.
Never talk to me again. I will weep.
Weeping does not become a man.
But have I not cause to weep?
Yes, therefore weep.
But why did he swear he would come this morning and comes not?
There is no truth in him.
Not true in love?
Yes, when he is in, but I do not think he's in.
But you have heard him swear downright he was.
Was is not is. He attends here on your father, the Duke.
I met the Duke yesterday and had much question with him. He asked me of what parentage I was. So I told him of as good as he. So he laughed and let me go. But why do we talk of fathers when there's such a man as Orlando?
Oh, that's a brave man. He speaks brave words, writes brave verses, swears brave oaths, and breaks them bravely, athwart the heart of his lover. But who comes here? Our shepherd who complained of love, and a shepherdess.
Oh, come, let us remove. Those who lovers feed us those who are in love.
Oh, Phoebe, Phoebe, Phoebe. Phoebe, say that you love me not, but say not so in bitterness. The common executioner falls not the axe upon the humbled neck, but first begs pardon.
I would not be the executioner. I fly thee, for I would not injure thee. Thou tellest there is murder in my eye. Now, I do frown on thee with all my heart. And if my eyes can wound, now let them kill thee. Now, counterfeit to swoon. Why now? Fall down. Or if thou canst not, oh, for shame, lie not to say my eyes are murderers. Show the mark my eye has made in thee. Scratch me with a pin, and there remains some scar of it. But now, my eye, which I have darted at thee, hurts thee not.
Oh, Phoebe, if ever you meet in some fresh cheek the power of fancy, then you will know the wounds invisible that love's keen arrows make.
But till that time, come not thou near me. As till that time, I will not pity thee.
And why, I pray you? Who might be your mother that you exulting all at once over the wretched? What? Though you have no beauty, must you be therefore proud and pitiless? What means this? Why do you look on me? I see no more in you than the ordinary nature's sail work. I think she means to tinkle my eye too. Hope not after it, proud mistress. 'Tis not your inky brows, your black silk hair, your cheek of cream, nor your bugle eyes that could entame my spirits to your worship.
Oh.
You foolish shepherd, wherefore do you follow her? You are 1,000 times proper a man than she a woman. 'Tis such fools as you that make the world full of ill-favored children. 'Tis not the glass, but you that flatters her. But know thyself, mistress, down on your knees, for I must tell you, friendly, in your ear, sell when you can, you are not for all markets. Try the man mercy. Love him. Take his offer. Fare you well.
Sweet youth, I beg you, chide a year together. I'd rather hear you chide than this man woo.
He's fallen in love with your foulness, and she'll fall in love with my anger. Why look you so in that way?
For no ill will I bear you.
I pray you, do not fall in love with me, for I am falser than vows made in wine. Come, sister, shepherdess, look on him better, and be not proud.
Dead shepherd, now I see thy saw of might. Whoever loves that love not at first sight.
Phoebe, pity me.
Sylvius, the time was that I hated thee. But since that thou canst talk of love so well, thy company, which erst was irksome to me, I will endure. And I'll employ thee too. But do not look for further recompense.
So holy and perfect is my love, that I will think it a most plenteous crop to glean the broken ears after the man the harvest reaps.
Knowest thou the youth that spoke to me erstwhile?
Not very well, but I have seen him oft in the forest, and he hath bought the cottage that the old harlot was master of.
Think not I love him, though I ask for him. Tis but a peevish boy, but he talks well. But what care I for words? Yet words do well when he that speaks them pleases those that hear. It is a pretty youth. Not very pretty, but sure, he's proud. And yet his pride becomes him. He'll make a proper man. The best thing in him is his complexion. And no sooner did his tongue make offense, his eye did heal it up. There may be some women, Sylvius, had they marked him in parcels as I did, would have gone near to fall in love with him. But for my part, I love him not, nor hate him not. And yet, I have more cause to hate him than to love him. For what had he to do to chide at me? He said mine eyes were black, and my hair black, and now I am remembered, scorned at me. I marvel why I answered not again. But that's all one. Omittance is no quittance. I'll write him a very taunting letter. And thou shalt bear it, wilt thou, Sylvius?
Phoebe, with all my heart.
I'll write it straight. The matter's in my heart and in my head. I'll be bitter with him and passing short. Go with me, Sylvius. Meanwhile, we find Jacques, who has been walking through the forest, finding and talking to anyone that he can find and feel superior to. He stumbles upon Rosalind and is outwitted.
I pray thee, pretty youth, let me be better acquainted with thee.
They say you are a melancholy fellow.
I am so. I do love it better than laughing.
Those that are in extremity of either are abominable fellows, worse than drunkards.
Why, 'tis good to be sad and say nothing.
Why then 'tis good to be a post.
I have a melancholy of my own, extracted from the sundry contemplation of my travels, in which my often rumination wraps me in a most humorous sadness. Yes, I have gained my experience.
And your experience makes you sad.
Good day and happiness, dear Rosalind.
Nay then, goodbye.
Farewell, Monsieur Traveler. Why, how now, Orlando? Where have you been all this while, you a lover?
I come within an hour of my promise.
And you serve me such another trick. Never come in my sight more.
My dear Rosalind.
Come, woo me, for now I'm in a holiday humor and like to consent. What would you say to me now, and I were your very, very Rosalind?
I would kiss before I spoke.
Nay, you had better speak first. Ask me what you will, I will grant it.
Why then, love me, Rosalind.
Yes, faith will all, and I, Fridays and Saturdays.
And wilt thou have me?
I will not have you.
Then in faith I'd die for love.
Nay, faith, die by attorney. This poor world is almost 6,000 years old, and not any man in his one person died in a love cause. Men have died from time to time, and worms have eaten them, but not for love. But I will have you.
What sayest thou?
Are you not good?
I hope so.
Then can one desire too much of a good thing? But tell me, how long would you have her after you possessed her?
Forever and a day.
Oh, say a day without the ever. No, Orlando. Men are April when they woo, December when they wed. Maids are May when they are made, but the sky changes when they are wed. I will be more jealous than a cock pigeon over his head, more clamorous than a parrot. I will weep for nothing when you are disposed to be married, and I will laugh like a hyena when you are disposed to sleep.
But will my Rosalind do so?
She will do as I do.
For these 2 hours I must leave thee to attend the Duke.
Oh,
I'll be with thee again at 2 o'clock.
go your ways, go your ways. I knew what you would prove. That flattering tongue of yours won me.
My dear Rosalind.
By my troth, if you come 1 minute behind your hour, I will think you the most pathetical break promise, and the most hollow lover, and the most unworthy of whom you call Rosalind. Therefore, keep your promise.
With no less religion than if you were indeed my Rosalind. Adieu.
Adieu. Oh, cause, how deep I am in love. My affection runs steep, like the Bay of Portugal.
Or rather bottomless. That as you pour your affection in, it runs out.
I'll tell thee, Aliena, I cannot be out of sight of Orlando. I'll go find a shadow and sigh till he come.
And I'll sleep.
What sayest thou? It's 2 o'clock, and here much Orlando.
I warned you. He has gone to sleep. But who comes here?
My errand is to you, fair youth. My gentle Phoebe did bid me give you this. Pardon me, but I know not its contents. I'm but a guiltless messenger.
She says I am not fair, that I lack manners. She calls me proud. God's my will, her love is not the hair that I do hunt. Why write so to me? I say she never did invent this letter. This is a man's invention, and his hand.
Sure it's hers.
Woman's gentle brain could not drop forth such giant, rude invention. Will you hear the letter?
So please you, for I have not yet heard it. Yet heard too much of Phoebe's cruelty.
He that brings this love to thee, little knows this love in me. And by him seal up thy mind, whether that thy youth and kind will the faithful offer take of me and all that I can make, or else by him my love deny, and then I'll study how to die.
Call you this chiding?
Alas, poor shepherd.
Do you pity him? No, he deserves no pity. To love such a woman, to make thee an instrument and play false strings on thee, not to be endured. I see love hath made thee a tame snake. If she love thee, I charge her to love thee. Hence, for here comes company.
Good morrow, fair ones. Pray if you know where in the purlieu of the forest I might find a cottage fenced about by pine trees.
By the murmuring stream, but at this hour no one is within.
If an eye may profit by a tongue, then I should know you by description. The boy is fair, of female favor, and bestows himself like an older sister. The woman, low and browner than her brother. Are you not the owner of the cottage I did inquire for?
It is not a boast, being asked to say that we are.
Orlando doth commend himself to you both, and bid me give to that youth he in sport doth call his Rosalind this bloody napkin. Be you he?
I am. What must we understand by this?
Some of my shame, if you will know how and where and why this napkin were stained.
I pray you tell it.
When last young Orlando left you,
he left with a promise to come again within an hour. And pacing through the forest, chewing on the fruit of sweet and bitter fancy, lo, what sight befell him? An old man, ragged and o'ergrown with hair, lay sleeping on his back. Under a bush, under which a bush's shade, a lioness lay crouching, head on ground, watching for when the sleeping man should stir. For 'tis the noble disposition of the beast not to prey on anything that doth seem as dead. When Orlando approached the man, he found it was his brother, his elder brother.
Oh, I've heard him speak of that same brother. He did render him the most uncaring that ever lived amongst men.
And well that might be so, for I know he was uncaring.
But, Orlando, did he leave in food to the sexton-hungry lioness?
Twice he turned his back and purposed to do so, but kindness, nobler than revenge, made him give battle to the lioness, who quickly fell before him. And hurtling from my slumber, I awake.
Are you the brother that so oft contrived to kill him?
'Twas I, but 'twas not I. I do not shame to tell you what I was, since my conversion so sweetly tastes.
But Orlando, the bloody napkin!
In brief, he led me to the gentle Duke, who gave me fresh array, committing me into my brother's love, who then led me into his cave, and stripped his sleeve. There upon his arm the lioness had torn some flesh away. He fainted, and cried in fainting upon Rosalind. Brief, I recovered him, and being strong of heart, he sent me hints to give to you this bloody napkin, that you would excuse his broken promise.
Why, how now, Ganymede? Sweet, sweet Ganymede.
Are you a man? You lack a man's heart.
This was counterfeited. Tell your brother how well I counterfeited to swoon. Hi-ho!
Well then, take good heart and counterfeit to be a man.
In faith, I should have been born a woman.
Later, Oliver rejoins his brother Orlando and confesses his love for Celia, whom he knows only as Aliena. They speak of their plans for the future.
Is it possible that on so little acquaintance thou should like her, that but seeing thou should love her, loving, wooing she should grant, and will you persevere to enjoy?
Neither call the giddiness of the question, my sudden wooing, her sudden consenting, but say with me, I love Aliena. Say with her, she loves me. Consent to both. It will be to your good. For all the revenue and the estate that once was our father's, I will bestow upon you, and here live and die, shepherd.
You have my permission. Let your wedding be tomorrow. Here comes my Rosalind.
Oh, how it grieves me to see thy wear thy heart in a scarf.
It is my arm.
Did your brother tell you how I counterfeited to swoon? Look at your brother and my sister. No sooner met, but they looked. No sooner looked, but they loved. No sooner loved, but they sighed. No sooner sighed, but they asked one another the reason. No sooner asked one another the reason, but they sought out the remedy. And in these degrees have they made a pair of stairs to marriage. Clubs cannot part them.
Oh, but how bitter a thing it is to see love through another man's eyes.
If you do love Rosalind so near the heart, when your brother marries Aliena tomorrow, shall you marry her? It is not impossible to meet a setter before your eyes tomorrow.
Speakest thou in sober meanings?
By my life, I do.
Sweet youth! Good Silvius, tell this youth what it is to love.
It is to be all made of sighs and tears, and so am I for fear.
And I for Ganymede.
And I for Rosalind.
And I for no woman.
And all is to be all made of faith and service, and so am I for Phoebe.
And I for Ganymede.
And I for Rosalind.
And I for no woman.
It is to be all made of passion, and so am I for for Phoebe.
And I for Ganymede.
And I for Rosalind.
Pray you, no more of this! 'Tis like the howling of Irish wolves against the moon.
Meet me all together tomorrow. I shall marry you if ever I married a woman, and I shall be married tomorrow. I shall satisfy you if ever I satisfied a man, and you shall be married tomorrow. So meet me all tomorrow.
I will not fail if I live.
Nor I.
Nor I.
Orlando, that this boy can do all that he hath promised?
I sometimes do believe and sometimes do not. As those that fear they hope and know they fear.
Hear me all! Patience once more. You say if I bring in your daughter Rosalind, you will bestow her on Orlando here.
That would I.
And you say you'll have her when I bring her.
That would I.
You say you'll marry me. But if you do refuse to marry me, you'll marry this shepherd.
So it's a bargain.
So hence I go to make all these matters even. Keep your word, O Duke, to give your daughter. You your word, Orlando, to receive his daughter. Keep your word, Phoebe, that you'll marry me if ever I marry a woman, and else you'll marry this shepherd. Keep your word, Silvius. From hence I go to make all these matters even.
I do remember in this shepherd boy some lively touches of my daughter's favor.
My lord, the first time I ever saw him, methought he was a brother to your daughter. But, my lord, this boy is forest born.
Da 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 da.
Huh?
Huh?
Huh? To you I give myself, for I am yours.
If sight and shape be true, you are my daughter.
To you I give myself, for I am yours.
If there be truth in sight, you are my Rosalind.
If sight and shape be true, where then my love adieu.
Peace, hope, I bar confusion. 'Tis I must make conclusion of these strange events. Here is 6 that must join hands and wedding bands. 'Tis truth must hold true contents. You and you, no cross shall part. And you, Oliver, are heart in heart. And you, to his love, Silvius's love, must accord. Play, music, and you, brides and bridegrooms all, with measure heaped in joy, to their measures fall. Stay, Jaquez! Jaquez!
No.
I have just been handed a letter with news of my brother, the evil Duke. Duke Frederick to catch his brother, me, here, and put him to the sword. To the edge of this veiled wood he came, where, meeting with an old religious man, was converted. Both from his his enterprise and from the world. His crown bequeathing to his banished brother, me, and all their lands restored to them that were with him exiled.
Ah! You say the Duke hath put on a religious life, and thrown into neglect his pompous court.
He hath.
Then to him I will. So to your pleasures, I am further than dancing measures.
Play, music, and you, brides and bridegrooms all, with measure heaped in joy, to your measures fall.
Con los terroristas.
It is not the fashion to see the lady in the epilogue, but it is no more handsome than to see the lord in the prologue. I am not furnished like a beggar, therefore to beg is not to become me. I will conjure you. I will begin with the women. I charge you, O women, for the love you bear to men, that you may like as much of this play as please you. And I charge you, O men, for the love you bear to women, as I perceive by none of your simpering, none of you hates them, that you may, between you and the women, may like as much of the play as please you. And when I make my curtsy, bid me farewell.
Come back out.